Alright, Deb, this is the last video. So, you use thread that matches your binding as close as possible. I used a light blue, and you started out like any sewing project, and this is the stitch. You come up, when you come up with your thread, you go down right next to it in the quilt, not in the binding, and you move over about 1/4 of an inch. See? And you come up just at the edge of the binding. I always look on the other side because I don't want to see my needle. Because if you see your needle, then you see your thread. And I see my needle here, so I'm going to take that out. Alright? So you pick up just the backing material and your binding. And you look on the front, make sure. After a while, you won't have to look in the front, but you do want to make sure when you start that it's not coming through, okay? And you'll get a feel for that. So you see, here's your thread. I went underneath the binding, just picked up the backing material and the batting, and then I came up at the edge of the binding material. So you just pull it. Okay, and you barely see that. So you go in, see here's where I came out, at the edge of the binding. You go in right next to it, but not in the binding, in the material on the back, in the backing material. You go about 1/4 of an inch to the left. See, I came out, and I came out in the binding. Check to see. See, I'm looking again, and I see a little bit of my needle. I don't want that, so I'm going to pull it out. Okay, it's really hard for me to do this while I'm trying to show the camera, but I want you to see how it's done, what stitch I'm using. Okay, and you see, if you see, you can see my needle there, and I don't want that, because then that means you'll see your stitch. So I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to go in right where I came out. Oh, I'm having tough. Let me just do this one. But I think you get the gist. Just make sure you don't get and you'll get a feel for it. Like I said, it's very easy. And okay, we're going to try one more time in the camera. So okay, so there you came out on the binding. You go down with your needle right next to the binding where you came out. I'm just going to shove that little piece of thread under the binding. Alright, so you go in where you came out, but next to it. Go about 1/4 of an inch. You don't want to see your needle on the other side when you come out. Okay, no needle. Good. Push it through and pull it out. Okay, so here's a few stitches. I'm just getting this piece of thread out of here. Okay. So here's a few stitches. You can't even see them. Alright, and then when you get to the edge, I'll do this real quick. Give me a sec. You see the wall? On the wall in the back of the picture? Those are my hexies I'm working on. I've been working on them for years because I do those all strictly by hand. So when I go to the airport, I usually bring them with me. Or, you know, sometime, very rarely, if I know I'm going to have to wait somewhere for a long time, I'll bring them with me. So, and just recently I decided to start putting them together. And that's what you see on the wall in the back. Up here, see? Those are hexies. I'll show you that in a second, but I want to finish this. I don't want any more parts to this stupid quilt thing. Okay. I have a niece who helps me do camera work occasionally, and she's awesome. Alright, so now I'm at the edge to my corner here, and I see I had clipped it down. So I think I'm ready to take the clip off. So I hold it and take the clip off. Then I do my last stitch. Can you see that? See? I'm going to do my last stitch, and I'm going to come up catching both parts of the binding. A little tough. Get that in there. Oh. Again, I don't want my my needle to be seen. I don't want my thread to be seen. That's the ultimate goal, is that you don't want your thread on the other side. And you know what? It's really not important. Unless you're putting it in a show, it's not important if they see your thread. That's how I was taught, and I like it to be like, you know, I don't know. That's just how it is with me. See, if I got rid of that one piece of thread hanging out, this would be easy. But, okay, so now, fixing my camera. Okay. So now, you just go up that corner. Just take a couple stitches right up here. Just one or two, okay? Okay. And that'll tack it down. Okay? And then I'll go down right next to it, and I'll come out on this side here, and I'll travel down that way. All right? And I guess I'll show you my hexies because they're right there. And those are my hexies. Aren't they cute? It's totally scrappy quilt. But eventually it will be a quilt. All right, Deb. And that's the final episode, I think. Final part 6. All right, kiddo. Talk to you later. Bye.